very much for having me here today. I've been with No Ties Networking since January 2021, and I just really love this group, and I've made some really good connections. And when I come to Edinburgh, I'll take you out for coffee. Okay, I think you already know this because you're here networking today, but networking is a supportive system of sharing information and services. And it's a bit of an old one, but I haven't found a better stat than this. LinkedIn 2020 Opportunity Index said 76% of people believe knowing the right people is a key to getting ahead, but only 22% were doing it. But you're here today, so you're actively doing it. So a little bit about me. I've got a background in European languages and business admin. I've lived in Paris. I've lived in a tent. And you get an extra point if you can recognise this castle. Anybody? It's Petrivia Castle in Fife, just over in Dunfermline. I didn't have the whole place, just a really small corner of it. I've ex-corporate, which is why you got a PowerPoint today. I worked in 2 of the 5 largest banks in the UK, and I got made redundant. I don't know how they did that to me, but I needed my network. That's what I needed when I went through that process. So August 2018 onwards, I moved to the Netherlands. What else do you do in your mid-40s? I came as a trailing spouse. I was supporting my husband with his career. I met my first business partner through Facebook, networking already, and I built my network from scratch. And I learned to ride a bike. So, a question for you. Anybody want to share the strangest place they've ever networked? Anybody want to put anything in the... can't actually see the chat, I don't think. Elena, do you want to come and share?
Speed dating.
Oh. Was that a social speed dating rather than a business speed dating?
Well, it was speed dating, but it brought me a lot of business opportunities.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? I can't see the chat. Okay, well, my husband actually networked on a plane. He was a self-employed contractor. The lady was a bit scared of flying, asked if they could have a chat, and he's had quite a long day, didn't really fancy it. Next minute, he's got a contract working for her. One of my many stories is I met this lady, Sandra, back in July 2020 through my then business partner. And you know when you feel like you've met somebody before, and it took a week or two, and then I thought, Sandra, we've met before. We met in France in 1993. And then last November, I was getting the ferry back to Newcastle. Sandra's on the ferry. I'm that person that disappears because I've seen somebody I know or somebody I want to go and talk to. I do apologise for that. I've also networked at my mother-in-law's engagement party last summer because apparently we've got some entrepreneurs in our extended family. So that was also a great opportunity. Probably places I wouldn't recommend networking. Doctor's surgery. I do tend to smile at other people that are expats and are struggling to settle here, and I can see they're having a bit of a struggle. But apart from that, I'm not going to ask them why they're there. Hospital waiting room, same sort of thing. And not for me, but I do know other people that probably would, and it's down to their business. But personally, I don't think I would network at a funeral. But do correct me if I'm wrong and you've managed to network in one of those spaces. I'd be interested to know your story. So where can you network? Well, in real life, of course. Always good to see people off the TV screen. I get super excited when I get to see people in real life, obviously online like we're here today. But also, have you networked at webinars? I've met some people and we've had a bit of a chat in the chat function, booked a call, and taken the conversation further. Facebook groups. I am in some Edinburgh Facebook groups, but Facebook groups here in the Netherlands in particular are very active. So if you are stuck with something, it's a good place to go and ask people for some help. People are generally there to support each other, obviously dependent on which particular forum, but if you don't ask, you're never going to find out. So finding events, obviously I found this group probably through LinkedIn, and I find other events and I share events that I go to that I found useful. Also, again, Facebook groups, or there might be Facebook ads. I host my in-person and online events on Eventbrite. I also go and have a bit of a scroll and see what there is. And there's also Meetup, which is a bit more, generally quite more social rather than business related, but again, have a scroll. Sometimes if I'm going to be somewhere for a week at a time, I might just have a scroll and see what there is coming up locally. And I think you'll have heard of most of these. So BNI is Business Networking International. It is a concept that came from the US and is all over the world, as far as I know. I've been to ones online. It's very structured, very time-based, and some people don't like it so much. Some people find it quite masculine. I've been every now and again, and it's worked for me. But yeah, I would say if you get asked to be a guest or you want to give it a try, see whether it's for you. This is another one. I know she's disappeared, but Elena does Toastmasters over in The Hague, and I have been to some in my local area, which is a public speaking forum. You get to improve your speaking. I feel terrible though, because I'm doing public speaking with people that are non-English speakers, and they're getting marked on their ums and their ahs, and I'm a native English speaker. I feel quite bad going to these. Obviously, speed networking, social networking. You know, if you see something online, maybe it's in your field or it's in a cafe down the road you've wanted to try, why not go along? There's some breakfast meetings. I know in my local area there's some that are really super early. I haven't tried those yet. Maybe when the clocks change and we get back lighter mornings. Other business groups, I know you've got FSB in the UK. They run events, Chamber of Commerce. There might be some through your church or through your gym. So why attend an event? You need to think about what's your purpose, your goal, your ROI, your return on investment. Everything doesn't have to be a transactional thing, but you've got to realize that you're going to pay potentially for the cost of a ticket. You've got the cost of travel, unless you're like me, go on your bike. But ultimately, you're taking time out of your business. So is it going to be worthwhile? I would say try anything once. You just never know until you go, and you might surprise yourself when you get there. It might not be a direct business fit, or it might just be fun, and you're allowed to have a bit of fun. You're a business owner. But what I will say is, don't go there to sell. I've watched one of these business coaches, very well-known speaker in the US, who says, you know, you don't dish out your business cards like confetti, because if you met somebody in person for the first time on the first date, you wouldn't ask them to marry you. So why would you do that in business? You need to build a relationship. Also, you need to be a bit careful about this one. You can give help, advice of things you know about, but actually being critical about somebody's business first time you meet them doesn't always start a good relationship. And this has happened to me over in The Hague. I went to a social event. I met the lady running the event, and the first thing she did was ask me for a freebie. Maybe we need to get to know each other a little bit better and see how our businesses are complementary. And maybe it's a barter rather than me just giving things away. You're there to build connections. And if you're there for the first time and you're really not sure whether it's going to be the right fit for you, contact the group leader. That's what they're there for. They're there to give you a background of the group, the sort of people that attend, to make you feel comfortable about attending. Some events you'll already seen people sharing it on LinkedIn, so see if you can reach out to them. There's the networking tab on LinkedIn events, and you can just pop some questions in there or say it'd be great to connect if anybody wants to connect to you. Or you could take somebody with you. That's also a good thing to do if it's your first time and you need a bit of confidence. But you need to prepare, plan for delays, especially this time of year, weather changing all the time. As your train or however else you're going to get there, has that been cancelled? Best thing is to be there on time, or even earlier than being on time, so you can get to know some people. Nobody wants to turn up feeling rushed, and it's not always that you don't feel comfortable as you walk in that event. Sharing social media. Don't tag the world, tag people that genuinely would be interested in this event. Dress is totally up to you. You're your business owner, but you're your personal brand. Networking is part of your marketing strategy. So don't think about, I need to get my power dressing suit out. Wear something comfortable, but that something's appropriate. For me, I'd rather be overdressed than underdressed, but that's totally up to you. Read the ticket details. This one might sound obvious, but some events have a structure that so you know and you can prepare for your 60-second introduction or 90-second and how that might be made up. Just to find out if there's any prep required. Also, things might change last minute. That might be your travel, that might be the event. So keep an eye on your emails and things like that. But ultimately, you're going there to go with the flow and just see how things work out. This is quite an interesting one. Be interested, not interesting. You're not going there to see if you can take all the air and all the airtime. It's about asking questions and using your ears. Listen more than you talk. Be open. Don't be a wallflower. You might be really pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, but you booked to go to an event for a reason. So go and do it. But also, it's nice to know that other people are going that you already know, but you didn't pay money, invest your time to go and speak to them. You could arrange to meet them before, afterwards, but there's all a room of people that you haven't discovered yet. So don't take the easy way out and hang out with your friends. I've already talked about not handing your business cards out like confetti. Here's one that might be a good tip as well when you're an in-person event and you haven't been for a while, or it's a brand new event, is the power of one or three. So what I mean by this, if there's one person standing on their own, go and talk to them. If there's 3 people or more in a group, go and talk to them. If 2 people together, I generally just leave them to talk. They may not be talking about business, they might be talking about something really personal, and it's quite difficult to come and join that conversation. Ask questions about them rather than their business. We can start a conversation a bit better than what do you do? Where did they come from today? Have they been to this event before? Don't sell. Offer value, offer people help. Did you know? Things like that. And give before you get. Online events, well, you're here today, so I think you know how these roll, but I do want to remind you of a couple of things. Obviously, we have the mute, unmute fun that happens in every online event. That's was a given. A lot of online events tend to happen over lunch times. So if you're going to eat your lunch, I saw one only a couple of months ago, mute and go off camera and pay attention what's going on. Stop doing your emails. So I know Denise had mentioned this in the LinkedIn chat we've got about a guided introduction or a pitch. And it was Mark Thewlis, who is a marketing expert in Scotland. He came up with this concept of wow, how, now, which I absolutely love, is, yeah, we can say, oh, I'm Julie, I'm from so-and-so, But and I heard some great ones today, which is wow them with a story. Did you know a stat, a fact, an issue that came to you and how you resolved it? And now what's the outcome? So after the event, we need to do some follow-ups. Keep your promises. If you've said you're going to tell somebody about something the following morning, do that. Maybe if you're on the train, you do that on LinkedIn as you head home. Yeah, it's great to do follow-ups within 24 hours, but don't put yourself under too much pressure. As long as you give them the information you said you were going to do in the time frame, I'll tell them why not. Then maybe like Fridays, block your diary. That's the day that you catch up with things. When I connect to people on LinkedIn, especially if I haven't met them in real life, and I found them through an event or someone else, I'll always say, oh, it was great when I met you from so-and-so, or this person recommended you because you're living near me or in the same industry. Invite them to another event. You've seen something that's of interest to them, ask them if they want to come to that. Make an introduction, introduce them to somebody that'll be useful. It's another way to get memorable, to be remembered. Asking them what they thought of the event. That's a good way to start a conversation. Have you got a mailing list or a CRM? I always add the details of where I met somebody, and then it's another way of tracking whether that event was useful or not. Diarise to contact them again. You can do it in your diary. You can also do it in your CRM. Make it personal. Nobody likes to be sheep dipped. There's nothing worse than when you had a particular conversation about something and then you say, hi, I'm Julie in this email. It's just like, we've done all that. And did I tell you about this? Well, I told you about that when I saw you. I would rather have a very personal email than put them through an automation that's not suitable for them. And yet again, don't sell. I'm watching the time, Nick. I'm going a little bit over time. We're doing all right. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure you'll know this phrase. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I can't see many downsides to networking. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today and I wouldn't be running my business in networking. We build relationships. We gain new clients. And one example I want to tell you about is sometimes you meet somebody and they'll go, I don't actually need your service or your product, but I think I know somebody who does. I had a lady who lives right over the east side of Holland, and she used to follow me in my last business, and she was just a super nice person. We had an online chat. She couldn't use my services, but she told somebody else who then became a client, and that's how it works. So don't instantly think when I meet somebody, oh, we're totally wrong industries. Just get to know them a bit. And if you've had a nice conversation, you're still allowed to have nice conversations. And then you don't know, 3 months, 6 months time, they'll just think of you instantly when that situation comes up. You're going to learn from others and you're going to find potential partners. So many hidden benefits. Self-confidence, communication skills. If you're a single person business and you haven't got a salesperson, you're going to have to go out and do this. But you're building relations. It's social selling. You're going to brainstorm. It's an opportunity. Test out assumptions. You've got a new product, service. You've got a new web page. Does it make sense? Do people understand what you're offering? Or are you just waffling? You're going to get support. You're going to get help. Funding. Mentorship, guidance. And above all, emotional support, health and well-being. You're not in this on your own. Even if you're in completely different industries, with the certain elements of running a business that we all have to do, and then we all have certain struggles. And you might end up with some business partnerships and referrals that you could never have imagined. Here's my offering I have to you today, and please share with anybody else to come along and brainstorm. This is online networking. This is how it works. We build connections, we test out ideas, and we go away with more clarity. Okay, I think we're just about at time. Have we got any questions?